podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I want to be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold the record for pay-per-view.
My drop, I know my situation. I want to
UFC production.
But it's going to be very difficult for both of us.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Boxing Voice. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs, and we're going to be talking this weekend's fights. While we had about one or two, maybe two fights this weekend, I also got a very interesting phone call, and you know, many other journalists use the term source. So today we're going to be speaking about some sources that have given us some information, and we're going to go ahead and turn the rumor mill on and discuss what is said to be taking place and in how the PBC is adapting a UFC model, and how that proof is in the pudding. And then we'll get obviously to the Showbox. We got to touch on the Showbox and Ryan Burnett, Lee Haskins over in the UK for the bantamweight IBF title, and Mike Perez. He was back in action for all but 20-something minutes, something like that. Who knows? A couple of other little very small fights that we will touch on. But first, let me head on over to the Golden State.
Ala the UFC production.
This is a beautiful performance against a very tough guy in Michael Johnson. How do you feel about it?
Fuck that. Conor McGregor.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You know me, Larry. From a wicked entrance, from a flip over the rock into a knockout. When the main thing is, I just hope the guy. I wish.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Yes, this is here. Haters beware. And before we get to all the topics of the show, thoughts and prayers with Daniel Franco and his family, as Daniel Franco, a professional boxer with Rock Nation, is in medically induced coma after suffering 2 brain bleeds from last night, I believe, or Friday night. So just thoughts and prayers and condolences in every sort of way to him and his family, you know, with what's happened with Patrick Colon, Mike Tao, for example. You know, these things always weigh heavy on my mind, especially, and I assume everyone else here. But putting that to the side, you know, thoughts and prayers to him and his family. But we get the rumor mill. We get some insider info on what the PBC is planning on doing with their welterweight division, which they have sort of a stranglehold on in terms of the top. So we're going to top it up with you, Ness, and the callers.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited to talk. Let's before we get into that conversation that I had, that great phone call Saturday morning that I got, let's obviously talk Showbox, man. Let me eat some crow. You know, we always forget that around here. I got to eat some of that. Man, oh, man, oh, man. Joel Diaz. I mean, what could I say? In retrospect, it sounds kind of hypocritical of me, but the smaller man, he gave it his all. You seen the heart that he had. He tried to stay in the fire with Prograis. You know, he posted on his Instagram that he was over anxious. He was very excited, and he wished he would have slowed down and, you know, kind of paced himself. But that he's going to get back in there and you know, and make it up to his fans. But that's probably what happened, man. He was definitely too tense, and just Prograis. I mean, how much does a 140-pounder weigh, right? Like walk around weight. Let's just say 155, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
157. I know that not 157. No, that's too much.
Wasn't Crawford 157? for the Felix Diaz fight at the rehydrating up to that much, I believe, something like that.
So then a featherweight that starts his career at 126, like what is he really swelling up on fight night? It was unfortunate, but listen, Prograis. I mean, Prograis. I mean, he looked good, but not that good. But he got at least the attention of Terrence Crawford. He said what he said in the ring, and Crawford tweeted it out and said and I'm paraphrasing. If you want, as the producer, you can find it on his Twitter feed. He said something along the lines like, "I'm gonna let that one slide this time because you know better." And I love if Crawford just talked as good as he tweets, right? You know what I'm saying? If he just said these things, like maybe he needs to start getting on Instagram, like, "Yo, watch your mouth. Be careful what you ask for." Something like that. Like, give us a little character. But at least he did it in tweet, and unfortunately, they didn't get that much recognition from his own followers. Maybe it went over their head or whatever. It was only like 80-something retweets. Crawford only has like 67,000 Twitter followers, man.
That's not surprising. He's not very active on Twitter. I follow him on Twitter.
That is, I mean, I went back and checked, and it seems like he definitely loves other sports for sure. He's always talking about other sports, but
he's a huge Green Bay Packer fan from what I believe. So he's obviously very into football. But back to Prograis, I think he looked phenomenal. I think he looked phenomenal. I think his shot selection looked.
Don't skip me here. I just got one little thing to finish up on the Prograis thing because, again, like I said, he looked good and he made some noise calling out Crawford, but I don't see him ready for that. Unfortunately, Felix Diaz took a pretty good beating. Like right now, he's and I'm not saying this in any type of disrespect at all, but he's my gatekeeper right now. Like he's my barometer test for guys because he's already familiar with us. Prograis is someone that is with Lou DiBella, so maybe he can mingle in that Al Heyman world, and obviously we see that Lou DiBella got Felix Diaz in that top-ranked HBO world. So interesting what he was able to do, but this is not a 140-pounder that we know. See, like I had to go in the bag and tell you who Joel Diaz Jr. was, not specifically you, but our listeners at the very least. I know Castle Hill Gill, shout out to the ambassador. He knows who Diaz is because we've been wanting to get him in there with Felix Verdejo for a while, but that never happened. But yeah, I mean, who would be your barometer? Because obviously, Crawford is the top, man. It's disrespectful for Prograis not for Prograis to call him out, but for us to say like, yeah, he needs to fight Crawford. Like, no way, it's too soon.
Yeah, I agree. Crawford is too soon. I do agree that he looked great in his last fight, last night against Joel Diaz Jr. I think that his shot selection, his accuracy, his in and out movement looked phenomenal, especially compared to other 140-pounders. And you're talking about him not being maybe at the top yet, but I would say that you would find maybe 4 guys ranked above him. Like you could argue that Prograis is a top 5.
Yeah, but he's not walking Broner or Crawford down. The names he called out, he ain't walking them down.
I know that.
Not with his hands down by his side with that bravado. Broner would check left hook his ass to death.
To be honest, I would love a Victor Postal fight. If Victor Postal can come out of the woodwork and have a fight, I would love the Prograis Postal fight. Any other names off the top of my head? I like the Felix Diaz fight. I know you brought that up, and we talked about that off air as well. I think that would be a fantastic fight. What was that?
Now, Emmanuel Taylor, he just lost to Lucas Matisse, but he did say he wants to come back down to 140, but it would be unfair for him to get in there after a loss to get in there with Prograis. But you know who's good for him at 140? Another guy that I don't know the top rank.
One other guy I forgot to mention. If they strip Julius Ndongo of the IBF, I would not mind a Prograis versus Sergey Lepinets fight for that vacant title.
Wow, you think he's ready for title eliminator?
But then again, Sergey Lepinets. It's Sergey Lepinets.
Yeah, but still, it's an eliminator. Regardless, it's an eliminator.
Yes. I think he is ready for that.
I was thinking more along the lines of top ranks prospect, Mike. Yes, indeed, Reed. Like that.
I like that one. I like that one.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to put Prograis in there with the Wolves yet, man. I don't know.
Do you think Sergey Lepinets is the Wolves?
Fuck yeah, he's a little beast, man.
He is. I'm not taking anything away from Lepinets, but I would say that Lepinets and Prograis at the same relative level.
Don't get me wrong. Prograis seems to think he is a puncher, right? So maybe him in the Lipinets fight would be an all-out barn burner, like I promised this would be. That's for sure. People are saying O'Hara Davis and Prograis. O'Hara Davis needs to find somebody that we already know, like at least beat up on Ashley Theophane. And even that for Prograis is a good 140 fight. Give me Ala the UFC. Give me all those names again for Prograis. Let's see him.
Oh my God.
Why? What do you mean why? Because that's what barometers are for, bro.
What's happening with Delorme?
But Delorme's no good because his chin is, all he keeps doing is make Prograis look like a monster. We need to put him in there versus somebody that's going to give him a go. At 140, you got Rancy's Bartholomew. You can even get him Arshu Usmani was at 140, isn't he?
Rancy Bartholomew may have to rematch Raylick again because remember the WBA enforced that or something like that.
Coach Mitty, what do you mean why? Why which one, Mitty? You know the chat is slower than the audio, so please write the name of why and what you mean why too. Listen, all right, man. Look, Progress. What do you want to see him do? What do you want to see him do? You said Lipinets?
If they strip Indongo.
That's your sexiest fight for our Lipinets. Fucking Lipinets. Somebody that they barely seen. They barely know Lipinets. He sounds like a dinner plate or something.
I highly doubt Felix Diaz coming off a brutal loss.
Lipinets.
Hold on. I highly doubt that Felix Diaz coming off a really tough loss is going to take Prograis. That's a tough matchup on the rebound. I highly doubt we're going to see a Ali Bakurdiev or Theo.
Well, wait a minute.
O'Hara Davis. I don't see any of those.
I have to stop you there. You said you highly doubt you see Felix Diaz Prograis. That's just might be what you have to see because, again, it goes into the theme of the title. I know we got some of our very loyal alumni listeners saying, why the title?
How dare you?
How dare you?
It wasn't my idea, guys. I swear it wasn't my idea.
How dare you, sir, try to somehow insinuate that I don't know, that this title is somehow disingenuous or something. This is a tip, okay? And that's why Prograis Felix Diaz might happen because there's no more easy fights. And I think it's time to transition. I mean, now you want to talk about the Lee Haskins fight? I'll talk about it just so the UK listeners know that I fucking watched it, but I'm not impressed with Ryan Burton. I'm impressed that he won the title. Let me take that back. He won the title, but Lee Haskins, I believe, is old. And if he isn't old, I don't know what the hell he was doing, okay? From a boxing standpoint, he was just standing there allowing Burton to dictate everything when he's the champion. Excuse me, I'm pronouncing it wrong. Burnett? Yeah. It's Burnett? Okay, Burnett. When he's the champion, he was allowing him to dictate the pace. Now this guy was dictating the pace based off herky-jerky movement. He had no jab to speak of. Burnett. All right, I'll just go with Ryan in case. He had no jab to speak of, just a lot of upper body movement. A lot. I mean, he obviously is in phenomenal shape.
He was facing a southpaw, and it's very hard to get your jab going against a southpaw. That's
okay. Well, try harder, because just standing there, jiggling like you're fucking Michael Jackson.
I mean, he was landing right hands at will. He was landing right hands at will. That was a great scrap.
He was landing
the best fight of the weekend.
He was landing right hands because Lee Haskins ain't official. Because this dude was leading with rights and he was missing a lot. And let's not take away from the fact that every time he did engage, it ended in a fucking clinch, bro. Every single time. And I'm being literal. There's no exaggerating in this. I just watched this fight. Every single time Ryan Burnett jumped in, whether it be with he barely used the left. Let's just be honest. It was down by the side, and it was just like a decoy. Don't get me wrong. He's a slick white boy. I like him. But I just think maybe there's something wrong with Haskins, you know? I want to see what weight is this anyway? I just watched it because it was an IBF title. What? No, I know Bantam, but give me a number.
Oh, 118.
Oh, well, isn't that Rigo or no?
No, Rigo's 22.
Magdaleno? Is it Magdaleno at least?
No, Magdaleno's 22. 118 is Yamanaka. Shinshu Yamanaka and somebody else.
Well, for that.
There's another UK guy that's champion.
Listen, all right then. Well, look, Ryan has nice power. He dropped this guy a couple of times. You know, it was a good scrap. But I wouldn't. I mean, good is I don't know. I don't know with all the clinching. I mean, this kid just clinches a lot. Like, okay, maybe Matt is right. Maybe it's a southpaw thing because we did see the Kell Brook and Errol Spence fight look a little ugly too. But to be honest with you, it was I don't know. It didn't. I mean, and every time Ryan jumped in, he ended up holding, whether he connected or not. He still ended up holding. It wasn't like, you know how Mayweather lands his right hand, boom, and then he ducks under your left hook, whoop, and he comes out the side, right? No, you know it wasn't like this. Was more B-hop. Right hand, hold you. Right hand, hold you. All night. It wasn't good for me. Not for me.
Well, I thought it was a good fight, but we can get to the rumor mill if you want and go away from this. 'Cause I know you're just hating.
Oh, wow. You think I'm hating? That's funny. Damn, shout out to Casual. Check out Casual. That is funny. Casual. He wants you guys to head on over to his patreon.com/the boxing fan power. Remember, Cash has his little Cash Wheezy shirt line going on. So the rumor mill. First and foremost, what would you think? No, that sounds so wrong. What is the UFC model? Explain that. What does that mean? If the PBC is adapting the UFC model, what do you think that means?
The basic UFC model, and obviously there's deviations of it depending on the fight. But once you get within the top 10, you don't fight anyone else outside the top 10. It's very rare for top 10 fighters to fight someone outside the top 10. Especially if we want to take it back maybe a few years ago before the buyout of the UFC, I think, and just the quote unquote McGregor era, I think that changed a little bit of it, the UFC strategy as well. But that was sort of the formula. And then once you're a champion, you're supposed to fight someone within the top 5. And that's usually the way it went as well. Again, there's obviously deviations from that. There's always fights that are not in the norm, but that was the norm. So it is PBC becoming that. I think yes, and obviously there's court documents. If you do not know about, there are court documents stating from the PBC side of it that they were going to at one point change Al Heyman into a promoter and turn PBC into a boxing league and make it like the UFC. And there's actual court documentation on this, and that being their plan. I believe it was bloodyelbow.com that reported on it. Paul Gift, from what I remember, maybe John Nash. Again, I forget the author. But so we have on paper in court documents, PBC saying we want to become like this model. And now recently, I would say within the last maybe 6 months, 9 months, PBC and Heyman fighters overall, because again, people construed that PBC doesn't mean the Showtime fights. And I say Heyman is synonymous with PBC. So Heyman, PBC, same thing. And
it's funny. Let me just interject there because when I was on this phone call that I'm telling you where all this information
with our anonymous source, which we don't
obviously. And I'm like, yeah, but why do you keep saying PBC? The fans think that shit is gone and all the good fights are on Showtime. And he's like, man, all that shit is out. So they feel the same way you feel. But I it's like I came back and I'm like, but there's no branding. Regardless, there's no branding of it. But
again, that's why I allude to those court documents, because in those court documents, PBC does state that there was a planned change in the corporation, that Heyman was going to become a promoter, for instance. And they even use that word, a promoter. I still think that's part of the plan. I still think part of the plan is for Heyman to not be an advisor anymore, because that does limit.
Well, that's a lot of speculation. Let's stick to what we do have, and it's them adapting that model now. I mean, in terms of 2017, what do you think in terms of the fights that we've gotten? Can you're the UFC guy? Do you see a similar pattern in the Al versus Al fights, meaning his fighters versus his fighters? Like I can think of obviously Andre Berto versus Sean Porter took place this year.
Keith Thurman's last 2 fights.
Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, that happened March 4th. That was, kind of that UFC, best versus the best, or top versus the top, whatever you want to call it.
You don't even need Al Haymon versus Al Haymon fighters. You can say Al Haymon fighters in period in general, like Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz. I don't know if Carl Frampton is advised by Al Haymon, but those guys fought twice in a row. That would be a UFC model right there.
He is advised by Haymon.
So that's Haymon versus Haymon. Dominic Brazil coming off a loss facing Izunu Ugono. That's a UFC model type of fight where a top 10, borderline top 15 guy is coming off a loss and still taking on a tough.
So let me mention a few more just to put it in the minds of our listeners that they've been slowly starting to give us this trend. Kaufman Mansour, Berto Porter, Harrison Hurd. Now Austin Trout and Hurd is in play. Charlo J-Rock, Figueroa, Roberto Guerrero, Jacobs, Triple G, Spence Brook,
DeGale Jack, Gervonta Davis going against Pedraza.
Very
young stage in his career.
Not only that, but Earl going to the UK, Gervonta going to the UK, willingly now, not reluctantly, not having the IBF do anything. No, like these things were happening. So again, my anonymous.
Another thing that the UFC model has is stacking cards, having like a solid.
All right, but we ain't going that far.
but we are. Think about it. Think about the Badu Jack, James DeGale fight.
No, because you say stacking to me, and it automatically means not only putting a lot of fights on there, but like good fights.
Yeah. Again, I'm only talking about the telecast. I'm not talking about maybe it's the whole fight card that we do not all see, but just the telecast, right? Every fight, usually, let's say on the Al Haymon Showtime cards, have all been pretty stacked. I've had a triple header that's worthy of watching. Multiple title fights on every card. That is something that the UFC tries to do as well. Stack big cards, and hopefully that brings in more fans. Doesn't always work, but that's the model. That's the formula.
So another little last one is Adrian Broner, Mikey Garcia, proving yet again that there's no more soft touches. Now, when I was being told this, I'm like, man, whatever, bro. That's how they do Broner. They give him 2 soft or 3 soft, and then they give him the hard one. And he's like, well, Adrian Broner's different. And I said, why is he different? He was like, because he does great ratings. He started mentioning all the highest things that Broner's ever done. So I said, yo, but wait a minute. Didn't he only have 600,000 versus Granados? And he was like, yeah, but that was still the highest for Showtime. And he was on Twitter for that. And he holds the highest for Spike versus Theo Payne for the, but what I was being explained that there's no more easy paydays. There's no more $1 million paydays unless you're getting in there to fight $1 million fighter. You know what I'm saying? So unless Berto's fighting Porter and Danny's fighting Berto, which brings me to the web that we're going to lay out for you. I don't even know how do we start? Do we start obviously with Thurman and Spence, which is what everybody wants for sure. That everybody wants to know if and when Thurman is going to face Errol Spence, and I am going on here saying yes, this is going to happen. 2018 for sure.
First half of the year.
I'm not sure about first half.
I will go as far as to say first half.
I think it's second half, or at least mid-year, right? After the first quarter, because Thurman has the elbow injury. But check how this thing plays out. I mean, it sounds great. Now, obviously, these are the fights these fighters have to accept. But once we lay it out, you're going to start to see like, oh, shit, this is really what's happening. 18 weeks ago, Luis Collazo, after defeating Sammy Vasquez Jr. by knockout, called out Sean Porter on the telecast. No one paid attention, but he did. Because he is a very interesting piece on this chess game, right? That is Earl and Thurman. Collazo needs to take on Devin Alexander. And I know everybody's going to say, Devin Alexander, why? He hasn't fought in forever. Exactly. So there's no more easy touches. He's ready to come back. He obviously had whatever issues he had with, I think he was dealing with painkillers, right? Matt, you want to Google that?
Yeah, I can Google that really fast.
But he's ready to come back. So we need a southpaw, don't we? Because who's a southpaw, Matt? Come on, Matt, help me. Who's a southpaw?
I'm trying to look up this. I'm want me to multitask over here.
I mean, damn. I mean, you can't talk.
Yes,
anyway,
yes, it was
I'll help
painkillers.
you.
Yes, it was painkillers.
The southpaw is Errol Spence, and who needs to fight a southpaw?
Keith Thurman.
Keith Thurman. So why not have two southpaws battle it out? Now, why this hasn't happened yet is because obviously everyone is signed with Heyman and everybody wants the best deal, right? Al is everybody's Al Heyman. And in the past, when you had Al, you got the fights that you wanted. Now he has everybody. So everyone's not necessarily happy. I'm going to say Collazo's not happy. That's my hunch. You see him still verbally trying to call out Danny Garcia in public. But Danny Garcia is another piece on this puzzle, and he has no reason to fight Luis Collazo when he feels that he won. So Danny is going in another direction, which we'll get to. So Collazo needs to come back down to earth, understand that he defeated Sammy Vasquez Jr., which was a great win, great fashion, which is why he's in this conversation. But he has the best storyline to be the best southpaw to play out as Keith Thurman's opponent for his comeback fight off of the big elbow injury in December. I'm telling you, he's coming back in December. This is my hunch.
You better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son.
So he needs to get prepared. And again, we're in this new UFC model. There's no soft touches. He's not going to get I don't know who the fuck is under that, because it's kind of tough. I don't even know what words to use not to offend people, but who isn't considered on the level of a Collazo and a, Devin Alexander, who are both, I know for sure Devin is like 3 divisional former champion, and at least Collazo one time, maybe if not like interim titleist, right? But again, Collazo is the best southpaw. Why? He's been on PBC. He's got the storylines there, and he hurt Thurman to the body, right? So you could sell that. Thurman could get a hometown fight, recuperating the elbow in the Sun Dome. They got the guy that, he hurt Thurman to the body. The only guy that did it. Whatever. Maybe Thurman comes back to Barclays, right? Maybe Barclays pays for it because Thurman's doing so well. Him and Collazo may do good in the Barclay. But he needs that southpaw. So enters Devin Alexander, who needs to get back into the mix, still signed with Heyman. Let him battle it out. And if Devin can come off of a 2-year layoff and beat Collazo, well, fuck. He definitely not earned the title shot, because you can't think of it like that. You got to think of it as Keith getting his kind of what would we call an interim fight, Matt? What's a delicate word? I'm afraid to say certain things nowadays.
Well, again, he's coming off injury, so it's like his Gerald Washington fight. It's like his
Gerald Washington. Now Gerald Washington never's coming on the show. Thanks.
What? That's no disrespect. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying we got to find better phrases. Okay, so now we got Keith and his, I was about to say tune-up. I don't even know what the fuck to say. We got Keith and his fight ready for December. So now Errol needs a fight. Errol is said to be fighting in September, but I'm saying open the doors up for October. Open them doors up for October. Why, Matt?
Why, Ness?
You don't want to take this one?
Sorry, I was looking at numbers and phones and trying to get everything in order.
Okay. Well, we might need October to be open because there's a fight that's taking place in a couple of days, right? When is Robert Guerrero versus Omar Figueroa, who is from Texas? Alex Lemon, help me out here. What part of Texas is this boy from? I think it's like Velasco or something like that. Velasco, Texas. Hey, Matt, who else is from Texas?
Spence.
Correcto mundo, my friend. Errol Spence Jr. is from Texas, and he needs a hometown fight. And the best are fighting the best. So if Omar Figueroa is a welterweight now, and, you know, Spence needs a hometown fight because he allowed Danny to come get it if he wants it in Dallas. He said Danny, Thurman, Porter. But realistically, as boxing fans, we know none of those fights are happening. Now, maybe if Danny wanted it, he could get in there. But is he going to give up hometown advantage and get in there with Spence? Probably not. Highly unlikely, right?
Danny is the real wild card in the situation because, like you said, he's the arguably the biggest brand or the biggest name in the welterweight division, minus Manny Pacquiao right now, in my opinion. Even after the Thurman loss, he is still probably the biggest name in that division, minus Manny Pacquiao. So if he wants to fight any of these top guys, he can get the fight automatically. But him coming off the loss.
Yeah. I get you, Matt. But is he going to take it? Because, listen, can he get the fight? Yeah, Al will give it to him. But what he's giving Earl is a hometown fight. That is set in stone. September or October, Earl gets his fight. Now, if one of the top names wants that belt, they got to come to Dallas. So my thing is, Danny ain't coming to Dallas. I got other plans for Danny and other tips from my source later for Danny. But if he wants, he can come. Do you think that Danny would go to Texas to fight Earl for his belt?
No.
Exactly. So if Omar Figueroa can win, he becomes the hometown fight. It would be only his third fight at welterweight after Kamagai, right? He fought Kamagai at welterweight. Now he would be fighting Robert Guerrero off of like a year layoff. And if he got the win, which is going to be a grueling, that's why October opened up, because you know this is going to be these guys don't, I mean, they should have been made this matchup, to be honest with you. Think about it. Not that it's, look, I know guys are like, oh, Guerrero, I know. But this is like you turn, you know those little, you're younger than me, fuck. You just turn the little switch on in the back of both of them, they're just going to go and meet in the center. You know how it is with these two.
Look, I think because of that reason, because of the timeline of Spence wanting a hometown fight in September, I don't think Omar Figueroa or Robert Guerrero is going to be the next guy.
Why not? When's that fight?
It's in July.
Exactly. That's why October opened up.
It's July, August, September. Yeah, I mean,
well, I'm telling you that my source is saying it might be October, because if he can win, if the Texas,
if they move the September date to October, then everything's more possible, right?
Well, that's what I said. I opened up with that. The October's open.
They make it clear that that's what's taking place. That September is no longer happening. That's now.
I ain't saying it's no longer happening. I'm saying if Omar Figueroa wins, it's Omar and Earl in Texas.
Now, let's say Omar doesn't win.
Well, I ain't get that information, but we could get creative though. After that, then we got to start to fill the fucking pieces.
Well,
everyone else, I still got other matchups for everyone else.
The other information we have. Very quickly, I just want to make it very clear what information we have. Devin Alexander was offered 3 people: Chris Algieri, Josecito Lopez, and Luis Collazo.
Not Devin. Everybody has this. Everybody has these offers. Like, there's offers for Devin, there's offers for Collazo, there's offers for Danny, there's options obviously for Earl, and we're giving them to you.
Okay, then what are Danny's options?
Well, should we get right into that, because we didn't finish up the Texas one, because it's really about Keith and Earl and how we're gonna get to that. Because Keith still has to have his December fight, which I'm calling December.
Depending on the southpaw, right? Is it Collazo or is it Devin?
No, it's either or, right? It's either,
because they're most likely going to fight.
Exactly. They have to battle it out to make that. But again, Collazo. I'm saying it's my hunch that Collazo's being a little bit, because you got to look at it. He's probably looking at it like, yo, why am I going to fight Devin? You know what I mean? He's been going for 2. Nah, give me the key fight now. That's probably what he's trying to hold out for, or give me Danny, because that's why he's verbally saying Danny. But the plan is I got it. You know, if I'm out, I got to get Devin back in the mix. Keith needs a southpaw. You two got to battle it out. You know, there's the offers, because this is what we've always told you. They always get 3 options. They get to pick it. Just like Broner, there was options. For Mikey anyway, there was other options, for both of them, but it was really Broner that took that Mikey option, and then they called Mikey. But anyway, so okay, we got Earl, but we don't know, that one's kind of open because I don't know. I mean, they'll still probably send Robert Guerrero out there. I mean, he's Mexican and it's Texas. And fuck, what is Guerrero going to say no to a title shot, right? Like, would you say no to a
No, good point.
So I'm still going with the winner of that fight, but they want Omar. Omar's the undefeated fighter. Omar is the Texas fighter. That's the fight PBC wants.
Wild card that we didn't bring up. I don't know how we didn't bring up. Brandon Rios fighting on the PBC card.
Yeah, that's today, but that's at 10:30.
I know it's at 10:30, but tonight, if Brandon Rios wins that fight and looks healthy enough,
exactly, because remember the timelines. That's why Earl got September or October, so you never know. I didn't get any information on Rios, and remember, Rios isn't official yet. He's just fight by fight.
Speculation. That's just
no. Even though that is speculation, what I'm saying is Rios' deal with PBC is fight by fight at this point. They haven't gotten him yet. Yeah, okay. Fight by fight. I mean, damn, you was there interviewing you. I wasn't there.
I wasn't there.
Boom, boom, boom. Whoa. Aaron. I mean, you got to send him over there with the fucking ammunition. You the West Coast, like, are you the fucking general over there or not? Sending that guy out there with a pea shooter. I don't know. Anyway, so, okay, we got Earl. We got Danny. No, I mean, we got Earl. We got Keith, and then everything that falls underneath, right? But like you said, there's the WBC former champion Danny Garcia, doing a lot of branding on his social media, pumping out the daughters. He's going to be opening up a new store. I think he's opening up pretty soon here. And it's just a lot of branding going on with the kid. Nothing about fighting, but
John Porter could take his spot in some of these fights. It could
no. Let me tell you, I have it on, what's that phrase they say? I have it on whatever. Come on, help fill in the blank. Well, anyway, I was told what they want is Porter versus Garcia. Now, nobody wants Porter. Nobody wants Porter except his daddy, because his daddy loves his style and he knows that it's going to give anybody problems. You got to, listen, you got to work. You know that now that you in that gym every day. You got to work to not only beat Porter, but just imagine how tough you got to work to be him. Throw all those punches and wrestle like that and push and Does Danny want that? I mean, some Danny fans will say, hey, he looked good versus Matisse playing a counterpuncher. I don't know that he wants that. So what's his second option? And the only option that I was given for the other guy is Danny Garcia versus Amir Khan 2. Khan has no other option. According to my guy, they ain't tell me what else Khan do, but Khan got the wild card. He could always go to Kell Brook and pick up the pieces over there, rebuild them like Terminator or some shit, and then get him in the ring. But yeah, so it's Danny. He's got 2 options: Khan or Porter.
No, not Porter, and Peterson. 3 options.
Oh shit, that's right. Lamont. We forgot about Lamont. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And Lamont has no options. That's the bad part, right? He doesn't get to fight. He doesn't get to fight Keith like people thought. That shit ain't happening. I was told that's not happening, that the WBA never forces the mandatory for the super champion, and the super champion is Keith. And Keith, he got listen, Showtime. Forget Al. Showtime wants Earl, Keith. So, Keith is off the table for Lamont. So Lamont has, Danny. He's got to hope that Danny takes the rematch, because that's probably biggest money for him. And if Danny doesn't take that, then it's probably going to end up being Berto Lamont and Danny Khan. And that's really it. There's no one left, except for when these guys say no, because they can say no to these options. So then we have a couple of other names that we're putting in the mix. This is not part of our information. We're putting in the mix that guys like Yuldani Ulgas might step in the mix quickly like that, because someone said no and they need to go. Porter's not going to not fight. You know what I'm saying? Porter Pretty soon he gonna start calling these names out. You're gonna hear him and his dad talking about Lamont on radios and talking about Danny on radios because they know they're the mandatory, but they're gonna be told the same thing that you know, Keith is busy. Like Danny said when he had the Keith fight, he's all booked up. So Keith is all booked up. You know?
Did we bring up Porter versus Collazo as a potential option? That with Collazo maybe
I brought it up in the beginning. Remember, I opened up with Collazo setting that up 18 weeks ago after the Sammy fight because I think that's his wild card. I think it's like, yo, I don't want Devin. I'd rather take Porter to stay in the hot, you know, like as if you.
And that may be the biggest name that Porter can get, or that will say yes to Porter. Because, like you said, not a lot of people are saying yes to Porter. Right
yeah, because everybody ain't saying yes to Porter. Good. That's good thinking right there. Because everyone is not gonna say yes to Porter.
That could be at the Barclays and be a main event.
Definitely could be at the Barclays because Collazo being Puerto Rican, being from Brooklyn, Porter, he's already from Brooklyn with all the fights he's had there. Believe me, you know. So, all right, that's it. Did we leave anything out? I mean, I know you had a lot of notes. Did we leave anything out? Anything out? Boom, boom, boom.
Not that I remembered, or can't remember right now. I believe that basically what we're gonna get in the next rest of the year is sort of these filler fights that are still within the top 10, top 15 of boxing in the welterweight division, and then the next quarter or the next half of 2018, we're gonna see a lot of these top guys then fighting each other, coming off these big wins.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be more of this good matchmaking, more of this.
Like, think about how great of this first half of this year was. 2018 is going to be just like that.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, like, the other guys, right? Like, where's Jamal James? I mean, damn, you know, because he lost to Ulgas, right? And Ulgas has been taking off with that television exposure. He's been jumping in fill-ins every chance he gets. That's why I say if someone says no, watch him slide in there. And he's been training very hard with Ishmael Salas, who, might I remind you guys, we told you on Thursday was possibility he was going to be linking up with the old David Haymaster over there in the UK, where I guess he's going to have to be coming to Las Vegas, you know.
And very quickly, through the bat signal, Bruce from Pittsburgh sending me a text saying the IBF mandated Carlos Ocampo versus Konstantin Ponomarev for the #1 contender for Errol Spence Jr. Maybe Ocampo coming off a win?
No. Those guys, tell Bruce, let me just get this out real quick. Kill yourself.
Hey, it's the IBF. We never know with the IBF.
No. How many extensions did Kell Brook get and how many things was he allowed to do? Let me tell you, nothing is getting in the way of Thurman and Spence. Especially not.
I'm gonna be optimistic. Okay.
Especially not no dude named Constantino Palomera. What the hell, man? Hell no. That dude didn't even want it when he was the eliminator with Spence. Remember?
That's true.
That him that ducked already?
Yes.
He's gonna happily take step aside. He's like, how much Al giving us? How much Al giving us, Paul? Can we buy some porridge with it, Paul? All right, so we're gonna open up the phone lines. Let's see if we got anything. IBF don't hold no weight. Let me see. Khan would do well at 54. Jay Smooth, what are you talking about, man?
Crazy people. Can you imagine Charlos against Amir Khan? They will kill him.
Oh, Jamal James has a scheduled fight. There you go. Shout out to Eric Rosa. That's what I'm talking about. Producer slacking. Call him slacker face. Jamal James. Who he taking on? Oh, Samuel Figueroa. Damn, 11-1. Who is Samuel Figueroa?
I believe he's fought on PBC cards before, like a Fox Sports 1 card.
Miguel Cruz. Javonta Sparks. He beat Javonta Sparks. Oh,
yeah.
But he lost to Miguel Cruz. Who's Miguel Cruz?
I have no idea.
And where's this guy from? Puerto Rico, Southpaw. Ooh. Samuel Figueroa. Damn, 4 KOs. Well, you know what that is, Jamal. Get yourself back in the mix, baby. Tall kid, man. I understand. He doesn't use his height, man. He doesn't use his height. Listen, I think it's time we open up these phone lines. Unless we got any other comments we got to get to in the chat. Yeah, we got to see what they think. Brooke versus Liam Smith. I don't know. I don't like
That's
that.
possible.
I don't
But I
like
believe Liam Smith is getting a rematch with Liam Williams.
Yeah, nobody ever heard of that. All right. They want a live fight chat on the reels. I don't know. If we get enough people wanting, we'll do it. Let's actually no, we're gonna be doing overtime maybe, or what are we gonna do now? Damn, we got the fight. Could we even do overtime?
Yes, we can do overtime. Yes. The
During
show
the
will be
fight?
over at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will go into overtime. We have 30 minutes till the fight starts.
This boy don't want to miss an episode of overtime. You see that?
Hell no. That is my shit. Back off.
Let's get out to the sponsors.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Going out to my boy in Australia.
No one can stop me, really. Oh, there's a king croc right there. This croc has enough power in its jaws to whip my head right off.
Can you get in the 6th round, in the 7th round?
DiBiase Productions.
You're gonna be the legend to become a legend.
Honestly, these are unbeatable.
You're gonna be the legend to become a legend.
Morning, boys. Morning, Patreon family. What's going on? Look, I'm at work, so I've got to wrap it up as always quick. But I really like the let Thurman rest up. A couple of fights in between. Maybe Kalada wouldn't be too bad. And then because look, I said it to Matt when we were at the fight live. Thurman Garcia. I said, look, I think Spence beats both of these blokes. I think Thurman needs as much help as he can get right now. Get a couple of tune-ups, get a couple of paydays. I think Thurman's gonna, it's strap season. And I said it to Matt as well. I think Brooke and Spence are two of the top 3 welterweights, aside from Pacquiao. I know that's disrespectful to Thurman. Everyone's gonna hate on me, but I think it is what it is. And by the way, is anyone? So did we end up finding out you guys coming to Australia or what for the Pacquiao fight? Doubt it, but
Nah, man. Duco is handling that. Top Rank ain't doing nothing for that, man.
Slack. Well, if any of the Patreon family end up going to be there, just hit me up and we'll party hard.
Well, Mickey is definitely. Mickey is definitely. So get with Mickey Caparelli, man. He's definitely TBV. He even, he's been with us for years, and he's cool. Definitely cool. Yeah, definitely cool. Cone cool, baby.
Yeah, well, hit me up anytime, man. Me and a few of my mates were going down front row. Got to go hard and see Pacquiao live. But that's my call, boys. Thanks for the show. Thanks for the hard work, and as always, thumbs up.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for calling in, Alex. Let's go out to the UK. We got Idris. Talk to me.
Hey, man, what's happening, man? I watched that Prograis fight. I had to watch it the next day on Daily Motion, man, because Box Nation took the piss, man. And Matt, man, I've noticed before you said how UK is the home of hardcore boxing, and to be honest with you, I never really realized how much that's true until the Prograis fight, because it was meant to be on Box Nation, and Box Nation last minute cancelled the fight because they couldn't get TV right. So I went on their Twitter to see what was happening, and I noticed a lot of people complaining to them. A lot of people. I was thinking, damn, I thought it was something I was going to be interested in. I didn't think there was going to be that much people, but so that's just a little sign. I know, but he impressed because I watched it the next day. I think it will be a force, and if he's smart, he'd wait for Crawford to unify and then drop all the titles and then just do a Crawford. If he can, maybe he might be able to clean up that division himself, man. But he's looking impressive. But I was thinking, like, you're seeing them two guys, they're like they were kind of two prospects, and they fought kind of early. So I don't know how much that's damaged Diaz, but how many fights in do we get to wait till we see something like Conlon versus Shakur Stevenson? I know they're not that far away from each other from weight divisions, and they're about the same weight, walk-around weight. But do you think Top Rank takes risks like Al Heyman and Showtime and all of these other fights? They don't do them type of risks, do they?
I'm not. I can't see Conlon and Stevenson in with each other till not even. I mean, man,
2022.
Past 20 fights each. They both got to get 20 each. You kidding me?
Is that just a top rank thing? They just won't risk any, like they'll try and make both.
That's a boxing thing. That's a
I mean, you know, things are changing. Everything is going faster. So it could be because look, I mean, one got his pro debut in Madison Square. They both got it in Madison.
I'll put it this way, Colin says he wants to fight for a world title in 2 years. So Colin may be fast track. Plus, Colin's also 7 years older than Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson's 19 years old. Michael Conlan's 26. So
that's not even a fair fight.
That's a good point. But one day they will have to, and I think Conlan will be close.
Yes, you are right. You're right. One point they will fight. I don't know when that is though.
A big Irish fight would be Burnett and Conlan at some point, maybe 2 years time from now. But you don't get the Joshua Buatsi news as well.
What about the exemption?
Because Joshua Buatsi getting signed to Matchroom.
Oh yeah, the new guy.
Yeah, he's a lot of, like, he's got a huge hype over here, and it's not like an anti-Joshua hype, but it's more like an Errol Spence kind of hype where.
Well, we'll see, Idris.
He's dead.
We'll see. Let me get to some other callers, brother. But as always, thanks for calling in. I did notice that Eddie Hearn signed that guy. Looks like we got a first-time caller, 206, first-time calling in. Who's this? Actually, how long you been listening? 206 402. You're up. Hello? Is it me you're looking for? All right, moving on. Larry in San Francisco.
Hey, big ups to the Boxing Voice. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, real quick on this PBC jumping into the MMA model. I would argue that PBC has been bringing the big fights from jump. I mean, it's not really anything new. We've seen Broner and Porter. We've seen Marco Huck and Glowacki. We've seen Khan and Peterson. We've seen Porter and Thurman and DSG, Santa Cruz, Abner Maris. The best been fighting the best. That's been one of the best things about PBC.
But in between there, remember, in between that, there were some fights where some, were like,
there were some Rod Salkas.
They're saying that, I'm being told that that's no more, like the super duper easy, or like the Danny Vargas, that's no more, allegedly. We'll see.
So you're saying every single fight's gonna be like that, as opposed to more than half of them?
Yeah, I mean, those matches that I gave you, those are the options.
Or the stipulation is, if you want to get paid over $1 million, you ain't taking the easy touch.
Yeah, I mean, just keep in mind, Jamel Charlo was on an undercard and he made $100,000 to defend his title as a mandatory. So things are changing. If you want the big money, yeah.
No, I say bring it on. I definitely wanted to touch on that the big matchups have been happening from jump. Hey, but like I said at the time that it happened, when the time for Danny Garcia to fight Keith Thurman came up, Garcia should have told Al Heyman to take a hike, and here's why. One of the best things going in boxing was Danny Garcia being undefeated and being hated, because his name was always out there and there was always a potential matchup. He should have took the Khan fight last year. He should have took the Peterson rematch after that. Then he should have tried to fight Broner or try to fight anybody but them big, natural 147-pounders. Because now what you have is Danny in limbo, looking for fights and without the same luster on his name. And it really makes for less sexy, to quote Nestor Gibbs, less sexy matchmaking nowadays. I liked it way better when Danny Garcia was undefeated, because we had more to look forward to. With that said, I'll take all these new big-time matchups and can't wait for Spence Thurman next year. And I'm out.
Larry, thanks for calling in. And you're right. You're right, Dre. Dre is right. Shout out to Dre for doing it. I don't know. What are those things called?
The YouTube live donate.
It's like if you want your message to stand out, like you can just donate and then keep, put your message. So Andre, who is obviously a pound for pound supporter, made a donation and had his message stand out. And it says, did my source, I'm going to just read it the way I should, right? He says, did your source of over the weekend give you an idea of the venue for Broner Garcia? And it's so, you're such a great listener. Good guy right there. Because let me tell you, I told Matt all this and he didn't even ask that question. And you're right.
Because I think we all assume where it is.
Where?
Barclays.
Wrong.
Really?
Wrong. That's crazy, right?
Cincy?
No.
LA?
Vegas.
Oh, fuck.
And no one's happy. No one's happy. No one's happy. I'm like, yo, it's site fee money. It's got to be.
I got so happy right there, and you just let me down.
No, bro. I'm being told Vegas, and I heard it's site fee. They couldn't turn away that money, bro. I don't even know why. Like, this belongs in Barclays, man.
Or LA.
But, I mean, this is where we're at. We need the money. We need the money, man. It's just like us. So support us on Patreon. We got some exclusive stuff. If you haven't seen Young Ali in the flesh, you better go check him out. Let me get out to Santiago in LA. Talk to me. Actually, we're gonna be dropping some new. What are you calling it, Matt?
A little teaser.
Is that it, Matt? Teaser? Like,
no, it's
teaser. What's the title?
It's an all access teaser for what is coming later for the full camp, and it's gonna be a full, documentary like video of.
Oh, so this is like a Ring Life. This is like a Ring Life production.
Yeah, and a little bit of highlights and everything like that. You're gonna see a lot of what I've been doing.
So it's something based around you and your camp.
Yes. You're going to see much more of the camp atmosphere in this video.
All right, talk to me. We're going to be talking about that on Overdrive if you guys want to tune in.
Overtime. Come on.
Overtime. I'm throwing uppercuts here. And Santiago's breathing and puffing because we hijacking. But I haven't turned on the bell, Santiago. I'm doing it now.
Hey, guys. So I think it's great if the PBC wants to emulate the UFC and provide us with a trend where the top quality fighters only face off against one another. Too often we've had just pure showcase fights where we already had an understanding who was supposed to win, and only recently, like in fights with DeGale, Jack, or Brooks Spence, did we genuinely feel it was a 50-50 fight where one guy or the other could win. At the same time, though, we need to be careful about how often a guy consistently fights only top-quality opposition. I had this conversation with Matt on his show, where one fighter, Chris Weidman, had lost his last two fights against top-quality opposition and is still taking on incredible competition. That's when we thought about how tune-ups are a necessary evil and should be needed a little more in the UFC. I've always felt that the succession of fights that Mike Alvarado fought, from Mauricio Herrera to Juan Manuel Marquez, without a soft touch in between either of those fights, ruined him. The UFC and boxing, in my opinion, has always been at different ends of the spectrum where boxing sometimes had too many tune-ups and the UFC only ever had tough fights after reaching a certain point. Because if we want fights like Porter Garcia, Broner, Thurman Spence, Thurman especially coming off his elbow surgery, wouldn't we want those fighters to be at their absolute best? We don't want to be sitting here thinking to ourselves, oh, well, the elbow injury probably hampered him, so on and so forth. So that's where, tune-ups become a necessary evil. We don't like them, but we know that they are needed. As always, anything you guys want to ask me about any of the topics that you guys are talking about, feel free to ask. Otherwise, that's my call.
Yeah, what was the sexiest matchup that you listened to and like? I mean, did you like the storylines? Did you like what the source is saying? Do you like that route? I mean, in terms of like the two southpaws battle it out to be the Thurman opponent, and Omar being the possible Errol opponent.
Well, with Omar Figueroa, it's kind of a moot point for me just because Figueroa has been pretty inconsistent in his career with how much he's blown up and down in weight. His last fight against DeMarco, he weighed in a career high 151 pounds. But I think it's great that they want to do like a elimination bout of southpaws where, let's see who gets at Thurman. And like I said, though, I think that when Thurman comes back from his elbow surgery, he definitely does need time to, get the elbow in shape, shake off that ring rust. And, that way when they do make Thurman, Spence, we get two top quality fighters at their absolute best.
Santiago, a pleasure as always, my friend. Thanks for calling in. We're going out to John in Chicago. Talk to us.
What's happening, guys?
What's up? What's up?
Hey, you know, I'm kind of tossed up a little bit. I love the PBC model. I like the way they're going with this UFC thing. The thing that worries me is, does this leave out boxers that are outside the PBC? We do have a bunch of tremendous fighters that are outside of the PBC that definitely should be fighting fighters within the PBC. That's one thing that does worry me. Other than that, the PBC is loaded. They have a plethora of wonderful fighters, and I mean, the matchups that could be made are endless. And I mean, you're looking at guys. I mean, just the welterweight division alone. Now, the one thing that worries me is, now where does this leave Terrence Crawford when he moves up to welterweight? When you have a guy like Spence, who, in my opinion, is going to eventually clean out that PBC kind of area of the welterweight division. Terrence Crawford, he's going to end up moving up to welterweight because he's a big 140. Do we get to see Spence versus Crawford? Because in my opinion, Spence versus Canelo and Spence versus Crawford and Crawford versus Canelo, those three, they can turn out to be a trilogy amongst each other, but you have two guys that are outside of the PBC that may not be allowed in to fight these guys. Now we are seeing, is Mikey Garcia part of the PBC now?
No, he's a free agent.
He is not. He's a free agent, but you know, he's got to give at least the first option to Al, man. I'm not that he has an option, but like, he's got to at least let Al offer him something. Let's say like Mikey wins this Broner fight, then what, you know, Top Rank or Golden Boy say, hey, fight Linares or whatever for, you know, whatever amount of money. Like he's still, I'm assuming he's still gonna at least go to Al and say match it.
And very quickly, Crawford. Everyone keeps forgetting this. Crawford's last two opponents were Heyman guys. So Crawford has no issue facing Heyman guys, and Heyman seems to have no issue facing his guys against Crawford.
And HBO has been setting that up for like 2 years now. I mean, how many times is Max Kellerman going to say Errol Spence's name with Crawford in the same sentence? I mean, they're preparing themselves for this. They know that they got to pay. Listen, they just did Joshua and Vladimir. They don't have any problem doing that anymore. We're not in that world anymore.
They're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. HBO's kind of shooting themselves in the foot. You know, being an Italian American white guy from Chicago, to me it seems as if HBO's looking for the white and shining armor, if you will. It seems like they're just promoting Lomachenko, Kovalev, Golovkin, where you have Showtime just wiping the floor with these guys. It's amazing to me when you see what's happening with HBO, and they're putting all their best fights on pay-per-view instead of putting them on regular HBO, where Showtime just putting everything out there like a buffet. It's kind of baffling to me. But hey, what are you going to do about it? You know,
John, thanks for calling in, brother. I will say HBO seems to be kind of getting out of the business of boxing. The budget's getting smaller and smaller. And speaking of budget, quickly, you'll see that Thurman and Spence fight roll around once that 2018 budget opens up for Showtime.
Do you think there's a time in the future where HBO is absolutely no longer in the boxing?
No, I don't think they would do that.
Okay.
I mean, you know, to be honest with you, I hope that they do. I would rather see them bow out, because what they're doing is they're causing like, and I think it's good for business, because
competition,
competition. But ultimately, as a boxing fan, I would rather everyone be on one thing, so that I don't gotta say to myself, "Are we gonna get Crawford, or is Crawford gonna get the Al Heyman?" You know, I don't even know what to use anymore. I'm trying not to. I'm turning over a new leaf here. What are we calling?
Well, the fact that we still think that's the paradigm of this industry and this sport, is that these networks will not work together. These promoters will not work together. And it does seem that is changing. It does seem that is changing. I don't know if it's going to change,
because it's pointing otherwise. They are doing business. Like we just did get Joshua and Klitschko, which was not a pay-per-view, and Showtime and HBO did business. And then and they did it with John Molina, and they did it with Felix Diaz. So, you know, listen,
And another thing, very fast, I think fighters are starting to realize that exclusive contracts make no sense for their careers.
None.
Whether it's an exclusive contract with their promoter or a network. Those network exclusive contracts killed boxing in a way for about a decade plus. And hopefully that is what's going to change the most.
It's like Devin Haney, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Devin Haney is so popular, and he's like, what am I going to... Huh?
Insanely popular. He does huge numbers online.
Yeah, and then it's like, yo, what am I going to sign to a promoter for? Like, this kid's already like 13-0 on his own. He's got a title, like a continental title. Pretty soon, he's going to be in the real rankings, and people going to have to deal. And he's already talking crazy, too. Like, you know, you guys got to look this kid up if you haven't. There's sparring footage with him versus everybody. He gets in. He was just in there with Mayweather, too. He's keeping Mayweather sharp. He was in there yesterday or the day before with Mayweather, okay? I got sparring on my YouTube channel, our YouTube channel with Sean Porter. And you know, look, the kid is the goods. He's saying right now, I'll beat Broner's ass. He's not just saying I will win in a fight versus Broner. No, he's saying I will beat Broner's ass. So this is we got some talent to look forward to. I keep telling people, look, Matt, you and I could get old, Matt. You know, we're gonna have plenty of fighters to talk about. Let's get on to, we went to John. We're going to the 630. You're up. You're up.
What's up? What's up?
First time caller?
Hey, nah, I've called before.
What's your name, brother?
But my name is Mega Man.
Mega Man, what's up? I do remember that. Where you calling in from?
Hey, I'm calling in from Illinois, Aurora, Illinois.
Illinois, no.
But I'm just calling.
Talk to us, brother.
Oh yeah, I'm just calling in to talk some shit. I don't know why everybody's excited about Omar Figueroa and Robert Guerrero. First off, I just wanted to hate on Omar Figueroa for a minute because is this fight at 140?
No, 47.
47? Then damn. Then that means Omar Figueroa has no chance, right? Second off, I just want to.
Why would he have no chance?
I just wanted to get. What's that?
Never mind. I said, why would he have no chance?
Oh, because he's coming up. You know what I mean? I honestly feel like he never had any punching power. Like, I just feel like he won fights off of activity and find a bunch of guys that couldn't fight in the lower divisions. You know what I mean?
You're right about that.
And,
I felt he didn't have
a
lot of power either sometimes.
You know what I mean? He would just be in there punching guys and getting punches. He would get his ass whipped, right? But whoop the other guy's ass just a little bit harder and win fights. You know what I mean? Now he's coming up to fight a bigger guy. I feel like he got no shot. And one more thing, I just wanted to ask you guys a question. Now, Brandon Rios, is he for real today, or is it not for real? Because they're paying like 12-1 odds if I bet on Herrera, and I don't know a damn thing about him. I'm hoping to get some insight from you guys.
Well, Aaron Herrera dropped Robert Guerrero, but Aaron Herrera has. Was it Herrera or Martinez? Aaron Martinez. Who's Guerrero? I mean, who's?
I think it was Martinez.
Aaron Martinez.
Who's fighting today?
Then he lost against David Peralta, who's a cab driver in Argentina.
But wait, Brandon Rios is fighting Martinez or Herrera?
No, he's not fighting Aaron Martinez. He's fighting, but not Mauricio Herrera, some other Herrera. Aaron Herrera.
Yeah. But not the one that fought Guerrero. That is the one that fought Guerrero.
Aaron Herrera?
Yeah.
When did he fight him?
I'm about to check. I'm telling you.
Aaron Martinez fought Guerrero, not Aaron Herrera.
I think it was Martinez, bro.
Oh.
It was Martinez.
Oh, okay.
Everyone thought Martinez won that fight, remember? And he got robbed.
Oh, this guy got knocked out by Prograis.
Well, damn. I don't know. He just looked bigger than Rios, and I just felt like Rios. All he does is just get punched in the face and punch the other guy. I don't know.
Yeah, but nah, man. Mike Reed knocked him out too. I don't know. I wouldn't put no money on it just because he's 12-1. I wouldn't. Nah, man.
You're right.
Nah.
All right.
Well, all right, brother. Mega Man, thanks for calling in. Matt didn't put down the state as always. Fucking shit up. He from
I have an Illinois on the list. I just didn't put it on Block Talk.
We're going out to the 903, Matt. Where do you think that's from? Where's 903?
Is
First
that
time caller? 903, first time caller. We got a lot of first time callers don't want to talk today, Matt. They don't like your voice. 903434. 9303-434. All right, moving on. Gonna jump out to some alumni.
Mr. Info Joe.
This portion of the show we call In the
Mr.
Know,
Info Joe.
presented by my brother.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah.
Yo. What's up, fam? I love what the PBC is doing, and man, what a great time to be a boxing fan. I just got to say that, man. If you're a casual and you just came into boxing, man, you came in at a great time. Let me talk about this Regis fight. I think the guy is the goods, but I don't like you said, Ness, the guy puts his hands down too much, getting cocky, and then he's going to get sloppy one day with that. So if he can just keep his hands up and stay slick, he'd be all right. I would like to see him in there with Hank Lundy, Felix Diaz, or Postol. They'll be a good barometer test for him to see where he lines up if he wants to fight Crawford. Right now, I do not think he's ready, but I do think he could be a contender against any of the other guys, though. I would like to see Danny versus Porter, man, or Danny versus Collazo. That'd be a big Puerto Rican rivalry in Brooklyn. That'd fight to go good, or Danny should face Khan. But I think they dropped Khan out of the rankings. So I think if he takes the Danny fight, they'll put him back in. Or Lamont versus
I'm
Porter.
being told Danny doesn't want that Collazo fight. That he feels he beat Thurman, so he don't want the Collazo fight. So his options, like I said, is Sean and Khan.
Okay.
Oh, and Lamont,
Yeah,
and Lamont,
that's fair.
and Lamont, and Lamont. He could get the Lamont one.
Huh? Yeah. Oh, I would like to see. I wouldn't mind seeing Lamont versus Porter. That wouldn't be bad either.
I know, right? I
hey,
wonder
man,
if
quick
Lamont
question.
could take that pressure, right? Because Lamont got some really, really good inside body work, and he gets low too. He might be, Sean's kryptonite too, because he's very, very agile. And Porter doesn't have that much power. And plus, since Lamont moved up, he's not really getting hurt.
True. Hey, one more thing, man. What happened to that guy, Hot Rod, man? How come he ain't got that fight? The guy that I think that beat Marcus Brown.
It's funny.
Didn't he sign with Al?
No, he's not signed with Al. But I can't deny or confirm that. But what I can say is that my trainer from where we're training out of, he knows him well, and we were talking the other day. He told me that he did just win a fight. He actually, there's a kid turning pro in our gym, and that guy, his brother lost to Hot Rod rather after the Marcus Brown fight, and Marcus Brown actually spars there. So yeah, they've been talking about Hot Rod a bit, but no, I don't know if anything on docket yet for him. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, to be honest. It's like Colota.
Yeah, me either. That's why I just called him Hot Rod.
Yeah.
I know he's from Florida though. Yo, Alex, I got a pie bet for you. I'm rolling with Chief Keep all the way whenever that fight happens with Spence. But I'll do that pie bet with you and only you. So if you want that, I'm putting in my early pick one time all the way. One more thing, man. I think this Crawford welterweights will we don't see it right now because we're living in it, but it will rival the 80s Hagler, Duran, Leonard, Hearns. Once they get to fighting each other over two fights apiece, I think that's Porter, Thurman, Spence, Danny, and if Crawford comes up, man, we'll have another golden era of welterweights, man. I see that happening. I know some probably would curse me out for saying that, but
I think we're living in it, but I think we got that right now. What a great time to be a boxing fan. That's my call. Peace, brothers.
That's right, Joe. Don't be afraid to tell them how you feel, man. Everybody want to live in yesteryear. This is our era. We live in it, and these are some good welterweights. And if they mix it up, I mean, could you imagine if the boxing gods opened the gates and gave us Timothy Bradley and Jesse Vargas? I seen a picture of Jesse Vargas next to Sean Porter yesterday at the Hall of Fame because they're all out here in New York City, in Canastota, New York, upstate New York. Even Wilder's down there. And Jesse Vargas is at least 7 inches bigger than fucking Porter. You know, and yo, look, man, I mean, those guys know each other. They're from Vegas. They probably sparred dozens of times that we don't know about. Like, we don't know what would happen, you know? Right away, we're quick to write Jesse off because we don't get to see him mix it up with the other names. So, you know, we think he's on the low totem pole. But look at Bradley over there. This guy's like a pound for pounder, just sit and chill. Like, I wouldn't mind Bradley versus Danny. I mean, he called out Broner. He called him a tune-up, too. I would figure Broner should have made work of that, for real, right? I mean, you think Broner can't take Bradley. Bradley got too much dog in him, right? Way too much dog.
Too much skill.
I don't know. We're gonna have to find that. Let's see. We going out to the 765. You're live, first time calling in. How long you been listening, sir? Or madam?
Yep.
How long you been listening?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, brother? First time calling?
About a year and a half.
Oh, a year and a half. First time calling in?
Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to get and play this first time caller intro. You introduce yourself, give us your name and where you're calling from, and then get right into your call, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his professional debut.
Jack from Indiana.
Jack in Indiana, talk to us, brother. You been paying attention to
me?
the show? Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, yes, sir. I've been wondering about Granados. You know, he fought Broner and gave him hell, I thought. And really, I think that he should fight Spence in September or whenever they're going to be having Spence fight.
Well,
because
I mean, look,
I think he fit well.
He could be an option, but he's not going to be the top option. You know, he's going to be the guy that like Yordanis Ulgas, the way we mentioned Ulgas, where a welterweight steps in because one of the other names decided they don't want those problems in Dallas. So they're going to give the option to, you know, some of the other tier fighters to get in there, like a Granados.
Yeah, I see it.
But remember this, brother. Remember this. What is it? Jack from Indiana. Remember, Jack. Last fight before this Broner fight, Granados was 140-pounder fighting Namir Iman and guys like that. So I don't know if he really wants those Errol Spence problems. He just took that fight versus Broner.
For a payday, though, right?
I don't know, man. Spence is giving out, you know, he's breaking shit over there. What is it? Kell Brooks saying he broke another orbital bone, bro.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought Kell Brook was gonna take Spence well experience, but you know, we saw how that went out.
Yeah, that was an amazing fight though.
Yeah. All right. That's my call, man. Thanks for, you know, picking up, and I'll be back.
All right, Jack. Will you make sure you come back? Thank you for calling in, man. We need some more guys in Indiana. Glad to have you, Jack. And make sure you subscribe to get those notifications whenever we do those spontaneous shows, man. You don't want to miss any at all. Uh-oh. I just got word from my coach. He's not going to make it today. Fuck. That's not cool. Have to get that strength and conditioning in. Let's get out to Ed and Cali. What up?
What's good? How you doing?
I'm good. Matt, you good or what, Matt? He said, what's good? You good, Matt?
Yeah.
I said everything's good.
Nobody can hear you over there, man. You're all in Hipsterville. He got his legs crossed with Keith Thurman over there. They playing flutes.
Oh man, I just wanted to say, man, you guys doing a great job and everything. But I got my little take on this, the whole PBC thing. And me and my friends were talking about it, and it was exactly what's going on now. everybody's going to be fighting each other. So I have a question for you. Do you believe that Sean Porter will fight Errol Spence for the IBF title?
I believe he will. I just don't believe he's going to do it in September or October in Dallas. But I believe he will.
Right.
I mean, you know what? He might do it in Dallas. Why not? I believe maybe.
It's Porter.
Well, the only thing.
I mean, do you? The thing is this. The thing is this. Remember, Earl wants that fight this year. There might not be enough money in the budget this year for an Earl and Spence fight. And Earl might not want another big. You think Earl? I mean, I don't know. Earl did say he'll take Danny's. He did say it. So let's see. I don't know. It's up to Sean though. I don't know. I don't know.
This is my thing, and I think Timmy Porter puts his foot in his mouth all the time. I'm not saying that he's not a. Sometimes he just put his foot in his mouth. You call out Spence, but he's quoted on saying that he doesn't want to be part of the IBF anymore because when Errol Spence lost to Kell Brook, they dropped him off out of the top 10.
That is true, though, and you got to remember he's already ranked #1 in the mandatory position for the WBC. But that is true. We were friends with him at the time, and he called in and he was like, "Check the ranking, Mr. Gibbs." And sure enough, as soon as he lost to Kell Brook, he was dropped from the top 15. And that was in 2014, though. That was a long time ago to be holding a grudge. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I guess my thing is between the Keith Thurman and the Sean Porter, I don't think we would want to see that again because Errol Spence is the new face. I would think what would make sense is for Danny Garcia and Sean Porter to have an elimination fight.
Yeah, well, that's what they want, brother. They definitely.
Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, yeah.
That's what they want. They want that Porter Garcia, but it's up to Garcia to accept that one. Ed, I want to thank you, obviously, for calling in, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Good call. Good call. Listen, you guys know the number 1-425-569-5241. We're talking this weekend's fights, and we're talking the rumor mill. We got some information over the weekend, and it's looking like the PBC is adapting that UFC model. And, the proof is in the pudding. They've actually been doing that. But what we're about to get, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that coming, Matt. I'm telling you. But I like what our guy Ed in Cali is saying there, man. You know why? Because I remember a Sean Porter and a Ken Porter who was calling out everybody, especially for a title shot.
Same with Keith.
So, I mean,
all these guys used to be the guy.
I wonder, would they really say, yeah? I mean, and if I'm Sean, maybe it is the right time to get in there with Earl, right? Like after a big fight, yes, there's momentum for Earl, but there's also wear and tear. He gets him where he's not, he's like right in the camp. He's back training already. I've been talking to Derek and Robert Brandt, he's back in camp. Well, not in camp. Not in camp. He's not back in camp, but he's been in the gym. Let me rephrase that. He's definitely been in the gym. There was a block party over the weekend. He probably had a bunch of fucking barbecue, but
hypothetically, it looks like Porter theoretically would take either Danny Garcia or Spence, right? Let's say both those guys want Porter. Which one should Porter take? Should he take the Danny fight maybe at the Barclays Center, or should he take the Errol Spence? Dallas.
You take the Earl fight, and you become that big fight of 2018 for good money. Could listen to me? If Porter got $2 million, what do you get? 1.5. They both got 1 point something or 2 million for what can he get with a title, bro? To unify the division. Oh no. And again, I'm only going not based off me and my wishing. I'm going off their attitude. Even though they're not as close as they used to be. I mean, when they were here, bro, they wanted everybody. They weren't fearful of anybody. No, there was no hindrance at all with them. So I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking, why not become the fight that everybody's talking about? Because if you can upset Earl, it's over. You defuse that hype train now, but you let it build. You let that slow build go. You don't want that. That's what I'm saying. Maybe right now is the right time where he's still licking his wounds from the Kelbrook fight. And you get in there with a Sean Porter who is a fucking tough style. And maybe Sean, I don't know. Maybe something can happen. Maybe Earl's not fully recovered. Maybe he didn't get enough time in between fights. Who knows? But what we do know is that according to the historians, this is how it was back in the day, and the best fought the best consistently multiple times a year, and iron sharpens iron, and break out the violins. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what happens. We're going to Washington, D.C., nation's capital. Marcus, talk to us.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Voice? Yo, man.
What's up?
I can see how this fight happens. I mean, PBC don't have a certain amount of spots to keep going in. And dudes who want to stay out here picking and choosing, man, they be on the shelf for like 12 months. This the longest Earl been out 9 months, but he was waiting for Brook. But really, if he didn't take the Brook fight, where would PBC have plugged him in, really? You know what I'm saying? So I can see how this fight can happen sooner rather than later. Thurman said his elbow injury. Initially, like I said, when he was talking about getting Pacquiao, I wonder if he wouldn't have taken surgery if had Pacquiao came to. I mean, and this would be a blockbuster. I mean, the winner, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, call out Pacquiao unification maybe in the spring or the May, because I got Canelo and Gennady going back in May. I got one way or the other. That's not going to happen in a quick turnaround. I got that happening back in May too. So maybe we get Spence and Thurman maybe in the spring, and then maybe in the fall a unification with Pacquiao in November. Who knows?
Nah.
I don't know. Sound like you don't think so? I think Pacquiao jump out there depending on which one it is, though. I mean, Pacquiao not a dude that's really afraid for real. It's not even that for real.
Yeah, but it ain't about Pacquiao, man. It ain't about Pacquiao. It's about Bob.
No, I'm saying it's about. I'm speaking about unification, though. Bob is willing to sell him, but he want to sell him to Crawford so that he inherits that profit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and that's what he's going to do.
I'm sharp. The only way that we see that happen, like I said, unless then the turn says, look, I ain't making 40 no more and I'm going up to 47, then I can definitely see that happening. Pacquiao, Crawford going to unification against one of them. I could definitely see that. But in the meantime, man, I ain't going to lie to you, man. I'd like to see Lamar Peterson and Errol Spence down in Texas, man. Get that WBA mandatory to force that with Keith Thurman, to force that because he'll be Keith Thurman's mandatory at that point from that belt consolidation that the WBA is doing. I think that's a good fight, good home fight for him, and it's worth something. Taking Danny Garcia and all these other dudes that don't have belts are meaningless fights. Not Sean Porter. Spence is talking specifically about unification. So if he's doing that, the Lamar Peterson fight makes the most sense with him being the WBA regular strap holder, which will force that key fight, if nothing else, if it's not just room mill, man. I'm out. DC is in the building, man. Boxing Voice, I love y'all, man. One.
All right. Hey, Matt, you know what we left off the table? And obviously my source didn't tell me this, but do you think that they offer the fight to Danny? I mean, with all the PBC propaganda and all the interviews, and it's who do you want next? And Earl himself is saying, I want Keith Thurman or I want Manny Pacquiao. But they're putting that Garcia and Porter. I mean, we questioned, would Porter take that short notice? It's not really short notice at this point. Everybody watched Earl win the title. They know what the fuck he wants. I mean, do you think a guy like Danny or Sean would go for that IBF title fight? Because, again, this is in-house now. Like, what are you sitting around waiting for? Like, Earl's not with Top Rank or Golden Boy. Like, if you're with Al and you can get in there in Dallas, I mean, is really hometown advantage that big of a negotiating factor, or does that just say, yo, Al, give me a little bit extra because I'm going to his home? I mean, I think I'm starting to think these fights possibly can happen. I mean, other than that,
no, not the Danny fight. Sean, absolutely.
Why not Danny? Because he's
Danny
big of a name.
Side, and he's probably a bigger name than Errol Spence.
But he got no belt. It's over. Man.
How many times have we seen a guy without a belt still be the A side?
But not in this world, not in the Al Heyman world.
Come on, man. Let's just keep it like 100 here.
No, but
Danny Garcia will not go to Errol Spence's hometown. They may now if it was a neutral location, let's say the fight was in Vegas, just for argument's sake. Right?
Okay, but Matt, just factor just factor in that there is no low-hanging fruit. That shit is over. It's over. So you can't. Who you waiting for? If you really go fight Khan, what the fuck does that mean? He just got knocked the fuck out. What does it mean, really? It doesn't line you up. It's not a mandatory for Keith because guess who's the mandatory?
But let's be honest, Danny Garcia may not be in line for something until maybe the end of 2018 or 2019 because of Keith Thurman versus Spence. Because Al Heyman's working towards that, and Danny's put on the back burner.
No, I told you his 3 options. All I'm saying is, even though my source didn't tell me.
I'm not talking about the next fight. I'm talking about long term. I'm saying Danny is not the focus for Al Heyman. Getting Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence is the focus of Al Heyman. And if Danny Garcia does not want to be involved with Al Heyman and getting that fight done, then Al Heyman will use other guys to get that done. That's my thought. That's why Sean Porter comes in and makes way more sense. Because Sean Porter has always been the company man, for example. He's always been the guy that goes, what do you want me to do? I'll fight that guy. I'll fight the best guy. He's always done that. He's always fought the A side. He doesn't care about being a B side. Danny Garcia cares about being a B side.
I don't know, man. I don't know if you're in this Al Heyman world. Do you give this opportunity up?
Yes, because I think Danny Garcia can still work his way up to a title shot off of 1 win, even.
Yeah, but right now,
if he goes out there and let's say he knocks out Amir Khan in a knockout of the year fashion,
maybe you're right. Maybe you're right because if
everyone will forget about it. All the casuals will forget. All the Danny Garcia fans will come back on our chat and on Twitter and on all the boxing forums and go DSG, Team DSG, and all that shit. We know it. Come on.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe you're wrong because I don't know that Danny versus Khan means much, and especially I don't know. We'll see. Let's get to some callers. We got the markers. We're going out to the New York City area. 917. Talk to me. 917. First time calling in. (917) is gone. We're going to get out to the Boston area, huh?
Yo, first of all, let me say, I don't pay Showtime to see you all there not even putting a goddamn motherfucking effort. If I want to see two motherfuckers just fight, I pick up a fight with somebody in the street. Don't need that shit. You don't love that sport, my dude? Just move along. Gone. Fuck you. Next. You want a great show? Thumbs up, donate.
Hey, yo, what's happening, people?
What's happening, Georgie?
Yo. What's up, Maddie?
Bring that high energy, Georgie.
Yo, listen. Errol is fucking king, brother. After that performance that he put on Brooke, Brooke did it all. He did the pushing, he did the pulling, he did the running, he did the head movement, the fucking angles, everything, change timing, you name it, he did it all. Was the aggressor, went on the back foot, nothing worked. Nothing fucking worked. I don't see nobody putting work on him 147. That's over with, bro. Pretty much. So, what's good?
I don't know. Anything else you want to say, Georgie, or is that it?
Did you hear any other topics today?
Your motherfucker never want to interact with me. You niggas scared of me. Look at me.
You're the type of guy that like to go on your rants. So we just give
First of all, we didn't want to interrupt you, and you didn't even touch on any of the topics. You just said that Earl is a good welterweight.
PBC, it's too late for doing any UFC model, bro. What you talking about? That's stupid. That's a dead issue, man. They should have done that shit fucking when they started. When they had that fucking $500 million shit. Now what? They're going to throw the little sparkles. Everybody going to throw down like crazy. We're going to go animals all this suddenly. They're putting good shows. I understand that. I got to give it to Al. I'm going to have to give it to him. I don't concede that. But don't give me that UFC bullshit at this time, brother. It's because his hands got forced to. He got a lot of criticism and he blew a lot of money. So, I mean, you just got to be fair and call it the way it is. So, the only thing you got to talk about is really Errol Spence. Keith Thurman, he's going to get a tune-up. He's not going to go right into him. So, who are we going to fight? Colasso some bullshit again? I don't know. Anyway, so that's my call right there. Everybody there, donate, support, enjoy Patreon. One love.
All right, Georgie Porgy. Thanks for calling in. I don't know, man. I think that the whole UFC model, it's more than just the big names versus the big names. It's more about the forgiveness of the fans towards the fighters. More of us being accustomed to the Gabriel Rosado, Luis Collazo, Robert Guerrero being more welcoming to those fights, because that is what the UFC does. They allow their fighters to rebuild, you know? And that is the UFC model. I want them to adapt that as well. A fighter is not done because he suffered a loss. It's not over. Because look, a lot of us thought Collazo was done and he flattened Vargas. We thought he was done to the point that he couldn't get past Vargas, and he flattened
Vasquez.
Yeah, Vasquez, excuse me. So, you know, you just never know in this sport, man. It's fucking brutal. Brutal.
It is. And plus, we want good fights, you know, and it may not be number 1 versus number 2, but number 1 versus number 5 is still good. Number 2 versus number 4 is still good. Number 3 versus number 6 is still a good fight.
Yeah.
And I think fans are so they just want those best fights. They want Thurman Spence now. They want Triple G Canelo now.
But they're
that just doesn't happen. I think it's unrealistic for that. And Santiago brought up some great reasons as to why that does not happen or should not happen. Fernando Vargas, in terms of boxing, is the greatest example. A guy that went through hard fight after hard fight after hard fight, and that spent him. He was done after a very short period of time.
It's also the trainer. It's also the trainer, because if you look at Fernando Vargas, I bet you that's not happening anymore because Big G's not allowing that. He learned his lesson.
True.
He learned the lesson.
Good point.
You know, and
sport of boxing is learning its lesson too. Like that is what these past 9 months have seen, and not even just PBC, HBO, Top Rank, Lou DiBella, name any sort of promoter. We're starting to see better fights overall. That's why we've had such a good 2017 so far. It's because we've had top level, top 10 guys going at it relatively often. I mean, almost every week we have a championship fight that's decent, I would say. That's rare in this sport. That we get, you know, this down weekend of Prograis versus Diaz Jr. and still a title fight of the IBF bantamweight belt.
Which was a Showbox. It was a Friday. It wasn't even a Saturday. It felt weird not having any fights this Saturday.
Yeah, you know, and we have Cecilia Brackets who fought this weekend. We even touched on her. The only undisputed champion in boxing. The third event in Norway since the 10-year ban of boxing. Just a further sign of this exposure of the sport, this growing of the sport, this re-emergence of the sport that a lot of people are sort of downplaying. And I understand there's a lot of hate, a lot of disdain for any time boxing fans hear the word UFC. And I think boxing fans should relax on it. It's okay. We're getting good fights. Be happy. You know, we're getting Triple G Canelo, and I know that's not this topic, but look at how angry the fans are that's in Vegas. And how we may not do our TBV appreciation party because the fans are so upset at it being in Vegas. But we get the biggest fight in boxing that we've wanted for years, and we criticize it. You know, that's just the nature of the sport, too.
It's in the wrong place. They need to learn. And this is how they're going to learn. By us not doing the appreciation night around that fight, by fans not going out because it's too expensive. Now, like I said, the rumor is Broner Garcia now is over there. Another fight out of reach of the blue-collar fucking fight fan. I mean, you know, those other sports, you don't got to pay as much money as we do, you know, to be a fan of those fucking sports. They put all their games on TV. All you got to do is probably go to get DirecTV. Is the biggest thing. That's your biggest bill. The fucking whatever football package is your biggest bill. While fight fans, we got to worry about hotels and rentals and food and flights, and it's unfair.
Or we touched on it earlier, like the idea of it not knowing what network a fight's going to be on.
Not knowing when the fight's going to happen.
And always having to go to a fight schedule, whether it be ESPN or whatever.
Flight, Matt. You can't book a flight because they don't tell you when the fight is happening or where the fuck it's happening till the last fucking minute because they don't care about us. So you guys should stand up. If you going to Vegas, I'm coming, but I would rather not.
Yeah, you know, along that line, you know, the consumer has the power via their dollar, via their wallet. You guys can really dictate what the box industry does based off of who buys what, who sees what. You guys listening right now, everyone listening to the show right now has more power than you think. Just saying.
Definitely do, man. We have to take advantage. Speaking of taking advantage, man, we have been failing to remind all our listeners about the TBV VIP boxing collection. You can head on over to ThaBoxingVoice.com and for $12.95 have your exclusive TBV pendants, boxing gloves. We have male and females. For $12.95 is your delivery fee. The charm are actually free, courtesy of one of our sponsors. For every one of our listeners, all you have to do is pay your own shipping. That's it. I want to shout out David, who received his for him and his wife, and he's also a patron. So shout out to David. Double shout out. Matter of fact, should we give him some coins or some claps? Let's get some claps, Dave.
Yeah.
I should be saying his last name, but I don't want to botch it. I'm going to go to my Twitter right now and see if I don't mess this up. Oh, that's not bad. Sandberg. Shout out to my man Dave Sandberg. Got him and his girl got those exclusive pendants absolutely free just by paying the shipping. So head on over to ThaBoxingVoice.com. While you're there, you should be checking out ThaBoxingVoice.com/Border Wars. You definitely want to check that out. We got promo videos there for anybody that doesn't know what that's about. You know, definitely take a look at it. A lot going on for sure. Interesting stuff that we will be talking about. You can check out our episode that we did on that Friday, and we'll be doing one every Friday for Border Wars. I'll just screen share this on the way out. This is a TBV Patreon exclusive. A couple of the, not a couple, actually all the Boxing Voice cast is going to be taking on the Canadians. And you can obviously be a part. You can come join us, support us, and be out there in Florida with us. We got the Conan. This is the Russian McGregor here. And here's my opponent here, the Casino Royale Zach.
It's a good suit.
Mac Daddy Zach. I like to call him the Canadian situation is what he looks like. You know this guy. We're going to pack the pounds on. He's actually coming to training camp. Only 2 weeks, but we're going to make sure we get some good weight and meat on his bones so he could be getting some good knockout punches. We're going to be heading on over to the Sunshine State, Fort Lauderdale. I wonder if other people from Florida are going to meet up with us, Matt. Who asked me? I think it was Santos on Patreon asked me, Santos, and I wanted to say live. Pretty soon we'll be releasing the location so that you guys can definitely meet with us, man. You want to take us out for some ribs, wherever the good rib spots are down there, or, I mean, it is Miami Mojito spot. You want to take us to the best mojito spot because we don't know nothing about that. I mean, I know a little. But obviously being with one of the locals would be a much better. The way that Eric Cruz catered to us in Texas and so many others. But, yeah, man, you could definitely head on over and participate. We're also going to be having 2 people join us. And, you could join in the contest to win those 2 raffle tickets to come all exclusive. All right, we're talking about everything paid. Food, flight, hotel. All you got to do is enter to win the contest, and it's $50 to get in it, and you're actually going to be there in the corner of Matt, maybe. I don't know if Matt wants anybody in his corner. You know, he gets in his Mike Tyson mode. I remember that last one, so he was just pacing back and forth. I'm like, Matt, calm the fuck down. I hope you don't do that this time. You know, you got to calm down. You got to get in there and breathe and pump that jab. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately for me, the coach already said no training tomorrow, so I'm kind of pissed, man. I'm gonna have to take it to the other gym. But I'm your host, Nesta Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO, and you can catch my co-hosts at.
Well, first off, go to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice to catch TBV Overtime, because right after this show, we're going TBV Overtime. We're shoot the shit. And that's where we're really going to decide if we're going to do this live fight chat also on Patreon for the Rios fight. So you got to tune into that to find out what we're going to decide on, what we're going to do.
I think we should do the live fight chat. I'm glad you brought it up. I think we should.
We can save it for overtime. We're saving it for overtime.
Okay, we'll save it for overtime.
You
heard the boss.
What are you doing? Come on.
Where's those thumbs up, Matt? Damn, Matt, they didn't give us no thumbs up today. They don't love us.
Yeah, I mean, hit that thumbs up. First off, hit that share button. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And you can follow me, Matt Hipster Hunter, at Mixed Combat News on Twitter, Matt Hunter TBV on Instagram, my MMA podcast, Mixed Combat Radios on Patreon, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, etc. We out of here. Peace. Go to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice for TBV Overtime.
Bye.